the only person who knew about the Walking Dead zombie apocalypse before it even started, and kept warning people that everything was going to get worse, but no one believed him. Yeah, what happened to this character? He disappeared totally and did not show him being killed. Did he actually die there in Los Angeles, or did he really stay alive? It's possible that he is still alive in the story of The Walking Dead. In this video, I will tell you the complete explanation about this character, and if you wanna know, let's go! Hello everyone who watching this beautiful channel, my name is João Victor and I'm back to talk about the Walking Dead universe, especially the first spin-off that is Fear the Walking Dead. It was released back in 2015 and in this show we have some character who kind of predict everything and then disappear. But of course, before starting, I want to recommend that you subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification so you don't miss any video about the Walking Dead universe and more. And don't forget to check the like, it helps me a lot in the promotion of the video. So there we go. Yeah, everyone is tired of knowing for years that The Walking Dead started without showing the exact beginning of the apocalypse, the beginning of the outbreak. As much as they are still solving more things today and will solve them, there are still a lot of things open in this story. And the main thing about that was the point of the main show not wanting to focus on that, focusing on Rick's story, skipping time and other things. And when the first opportunity came for them to make a spin-off that's showing the beginning of the outbreak, they did it in a very shallow way, which was at the beginning of Fear the Walking Dead, the spin-off that ended in the 8th season. But going back to the beginning, to the season 1, there we had a character that was remarkable for this point. He appeared very quickly, but that was totally open, and to this day, 2024, when I'm making this video, a lot of people used to ask what happened to him, where did he go? Yeah, I'm talking about Tobias, the young man, Madison's student at school. Everyone knows that Madison is the Fear protagonist, and at the school where she worked, there was a guy who believed and was sure that this apocalypse was happening. So he's kind of the first person in this The Walking Dead universe who shows up like that, knowing everything that was going to happen. Obviously because of conspiracy theories he had in his mind, but he still got it right. In this case, it all starts when we see Madison arriving for another day of work in the school. There we see she talking to the principal right there at the entrance. They talk about a flu that is happening there. Several students are missing, but right in the middle of their conversation we have the arrival of a student there who we met for the first time in the story, which is Tobias himself. In the scene, he passed through the metal detector and this metal detector beeps and he just don't stop for the search, so the security can search what kind of thing he had there. He simply ignores it, and when Madison asks him to come back, he says, "No, I'm fine, I'm fine." And Madison herself kind of take over the business to intervene in the situation so that the principal doesn't mess with it, because she knows about Tobias, she knows who the boy is. She knows that if the principal intervened there and saw what Tobias was taking to the school, the boy would be expelled. So she just steps in and says, "Oh, I will take care of that." That's when everything happens, when everything starts. Madison takes him to some room in the school, she searches his backpack and she identifies a knife that the boy was taking to the school. And she starts to question Tobias if he was being bullied again in the school. He says no, it's not because of that, it's because of a mysterious disease that is spreading there to protect himself. In general, Madison tries to calm the situation. She don't believe the idea he gives that everything can get worse, that he needs to protect himself in this, and tell Tobias that he needs to spend less time online on the internet. She even tries to explain, you know, that the authorities will deal with this situation that is happening there, a way to justify the fact that she's going to keep the knife. And yes, that moment is the initial moment, the first contact of Madison and Tobias that we see in the show. Then when the whole outbreak starts to explode, everything starts to happen and the school is evacuated, we see Tobias there looking at Madison with a disgusted face, like, "I warned you, I was right." And then we start the Clark family story, we start to talk about Alicia and Nick problems, and the big point comes in the episode 2, when both Madison and Tobias coincidentally return to the school at the same time to find supplies. Tobias to get canned food there, and Madison intends to find medicine. They met, and in this meeting, Tobias asks Madison if he can get his knife back. Madison says yes, and they go to the cafeteria to find the food. And so, in the middle of conversations about other points, about Nick himself, Madison's son, and more, Tobias describes how the civilization was going to start to fall gradually, how the world was going to be all destroyed, everything was going to fall, a very apocalyptic idea. And then we see they start to get supplies. Tobias himself is the one who focuses the most on this, on picking up canned goods. He sets up a complete cart there, assembling a lot of things as as he had a base. It brings a lot of a vibe as if this boy had something prepared. It's those people, those preppers. Like I said, the guy maybe has a bunker that he always waited for one day to be able to use because of the world was going to end, and the world ended up getting it right. We don't have many details about it, but let's keep going. We have more. Going back to the school, what happens in the sequence is that they start to leave, walk through the hallways of the school towards the exit, but they start to hear some noises come from the principal's office. They kind of run through the corridors, accelerate, you know, out of fear for the situation. When they arrived at a specific point there near a fire escape, and there's the point they see something, which is precisely the principal, named Art, who is a walker now. And noticing him approaching, Madison asks if he's okay, because at the moment she didn't know so much information, and the beast starts to advance, like putting her at risk. In the end, it turns that the zombie tries to attack Madison, and then Tobias interrupts with his knife, trying to protect, stabs the zombie in different ways, but they end up falling down the stairs, rolling, with the point there of Art's zombie in the top of him, almost biting, almost killing him. It's at this moment that Madison saves Tobias, taking the extinguisher and fixing it on the zombie's head. I'm not sure, but maybe this is the first zombie kill of Madison in the show. So in this moment, they manage to escape from there, manage to escape with their lives, but there's a point, right? Here's a mistake situation, or there is something that must be explained later. Because in the scenes, Tobias was treating his cart with canned food and many things as a gigantic gem, something precious for him. And then when they see Art's zombie there for the first time, we still have the cart there. That's okay, no problem. But what happens is that after they beat a zombie, there's already a cut for them leaving school, and there's no food cart anymore. It is as if Tobias had ignored the food cart, which doesn't make any sense. This is probably some script hole, we don't know, but okay, let's keep going. That's the moment when the connection begins for us to understand what happened to the character. At that moment, they leave. He seems to be, at least with the backpack, at least some food is still there, and they take apparently the principal's car. So that's the point. That's the scene where Tobias' story ended. Madison takes Tobias to his house and asks him if he wants to stay with them, survive with them. She even says that he and his family can stay with her for protection, but he doesn't want to. In this scene, you know, as last words, Tobias leans against the business and says that she has to take care of her own son. So she says that she will be fine and asks him, and you? He says, I'm going. Yes, I'm going. And so it is the last words, Tobias' last words in the show. At that moment, we see Tobias coming back, like going home, and then it ended, the show ended in season 8. We didn't see Tobias anymore, and the big question remains. He died, he survived. What happened? Did he get home? His parents was okay, or there were some zombies? What happened to them? He survived with his family or alone? And what about the bombing of Los Angeles? It killed him, because in the end of the first season we see about the Operation Kobo. That was about bombing some big cities around the country, and one of them was Los Angeles. Yeah, at this point I told you everything we know about Tobias at the show, and now the video part begins to tell what was confirmed after the show, exactly after Madison left him there. Yeah, we had an answer to this from the showrunner himself, the guy who wrote and who ruled all the decisions in the story. Dave Erickson was the showrunner for the first 3 seasons of Fear the Walking Dead. Yeah, in some Talking Dead episode, the talk show from The Walking Dead at AMC, Dave Erickson told about Tobias. He said that it is a character that he liked a lot and confirmed that Tobias did not die. Tobias stayed alive and even survived the bombings in Los Angeles. It is not known with whom or how, and we have no idea how he managed to get out of Los Angeles before the bombing, which place he went, but he survived. It is confirmed. So the point is that there were several episodes later. There was a lot of story. Fear ended in 2023, and it wasn't even mentioned what happened to this guy, as well as many others from the Fear the Walking Dead, from the main show The Walking Dead, from other shows, other spin-offs. But keeping the focus on this, about Tobias, which the story is very early, at the very beginning of the outbreak, like 12 or 30 years back in the story, he stayed alive there. And knowing this, as much as he had a weaker physique, he could still have evolved. For example, if we take a current situation of the Walking Dead universe, we can make some theories about him appearing in the future, some new spin-off and something, basically in Tales of the Walking Dead. We know that it is confirmed that more tales from the Walking Dead, like the second season from this show, will be produced in the future, and they say that it probably will be about some characters that we know, like Tales first season was about some characters we didn't know. We only knew Alpha from episode 3, and the second season will probably be produced mostly about some characters that we know. They can do some episode about Tobias, what happened to him after that. Like, considering that in the story, Tobias at this time of the first season, when the apocalypse began, he was around 16 years old. If we talk about the end of Fear the Walking Dead, the last season, that has a little more than 11 years from the outbreak, considering the time jumps and more, this means that at this moment, Tobias will be around 27 years old. So for all effects, he's still alive in the story. There's no place that points to his death. In this episode, they can use the same actor because he grew up. They can tell how he evolved as a survivor in the reference to the stories of Fear the Walking Dead. Sometimes he can even visualize Madison's group from afar. He almost decided to go back to her, but he didn't. Or they can even show how he died along the way in this episode. These are my ideas. Go put in the comments what is yours. What do you think about it? What do you think about Tobias? Do you think he's still alive in the story of The Walking Dead? Don't forget to check the like. It helps me a lot in the promotion of the video. Thank you for your patience with my English because it's not my native language, but I'm trying to practice more and more. Be sure to subscribe to the channel because I will keep doing more contents about The Walking Dead universe, and I'll be back soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.